Faking It fan fiction. Karma gets back at Amy. In the last fan fiction video, we left Reagan and Karma in the throes of unbridled passion. They were so lost to the world and wrapped up in each other that neither had heard Farah answer the door and let Amy. Amy is in an especially good mood. She was expecting Reagan to meet her back at her house after Reagan dropped her off her camping gear. She was looking forward to picking up where they left off. However, Karma had just showed up, and Amy was also looking forward to seeing her as well. Amy had very recently almost lost her beloved Karma forever, and while she left her on an up note before going camping with Reagan, Amy still wanted to be reassured that they were back to good. Amy is understandably bubbly as she bounds into the living room. She is looking at the ceiling and motions with her hands upwards. What a happy surprise! My two favorite people here under one roof. Amy looks down to see her two favorite people, but stops short of stumbling into the coffee table. She freezes in disbelief. There in front of her is Karma laying in Reagan's embrace. Karma's fingers laced into Reagan's shimmering ebony locks, their lips pressed together, their eyes closed, lost to the world. Amy wants to speak, but she can't utter a word. She tries to move, but her limbs are numb. Her heart begins to race, her breath becomes shallow and faster. Amy begins to hyperventilate. Her eyes roll to the back of her head, and her body goes limp. She collapses on the floor by the foot of the couch, just inches from Karma and Reagan's feet. Amy's body hits the ground with a loud thud, shaking Reagan and Karma back to reality. Reagan reacts immediately upon seeing her girlfriend laying there motionless. She jumps to her feet, nearly dropping Karma off her lap and onto the floor. She kneels at Amy's side and quickly starts checking her vital signs and performing CPR. Karma, however, is paralyzed with fear. She doesn't know what to make of her best friend's sudden trauma. All she can do is sit there by the foot of the couch watching Amy's girlfriend feverishly perform CPR on Amy's pale, helpless form. Just then Amy starts to breathe again. Reagan stops and looks down at her beloved Amy. Her adrenaline is now subsiding and Reagan starts to cry. She reaches down and pulls Amy towards her. Reagan, relieved that the love of her life is okay, still hasn't caught on that the reason for Amy's collapse was Amy was witness to her betrayal. As Amy recovers, she recoils from Reagan's embrace. She puts the palms of her hand against Reagan's shoulders and pushes her back. Amy looks towards Reagan's eyes, glossy and red with tears, but glares right past them. Instead, she lingers on the reflection of Karma that is clearly visible in them, into the face of infamy. Amy's lips start to quiver and manage very softly the word no, almost inaudibly at first. Then she says it again, then again, each time getting louder and louder. Amy struggles back to her feet. She stumbles backward. No, no, no! She is now screaming as she shakes her extended index finger back from Reagan to Karma. Amy backs out of the living room, shaking her head, stuttering her words, trying not to. By this time, Farah is racing to the living room, responding to the commotion. What happened? She asks Amy, who bumps into her mother. Amy's eyes, still locked on Reagan's own desperate glare, can't turn to face her mother. Amy shouts out uncontrollably, "Get them out! Get them out!" Amy races out the living room and up to her bedroom, oblivious of Lauren sitting on the stairs, who was quietly listening to the latest drama to unfold in the life of her stepsister, who secretly loves Karma, her best friend, and openly loves Reagan, her girlfriend, who both have betrayed her by cheating with each other. The door slammed and Farah tells Reagan and Karma, "I'm sorry, girls, I've got to respect Amy's wishes. You'll have to go now." Reagan's heart is beating with emotion. She feels the sting of her own betrayal. She feels the longing for Amy's warm, always understanding embrace. But she still tastes Karma's lip gloss lingering on her lips, oddly sweet, beguiling and alluring. She wants to run upstairs after her, but Farah stands in her way. Farrah's glare is firm and resolute. Don't mess with the mama bear, it seems to say. Reagan feels Karma's soft hand slip into hers. Karma squeezes her own fingers against hers and tugs. Come, Reagan. There's nothing else we can do here. Reagan reluctantly leaves. Karma strokes Reagan's palm softly with her fingers. Reagan looks at her confused as they leave. Karma stops outside below Amy's window and stands on her toes to reach her face up to Reagan's. Karma's warm breath makes Reagan feel flush again. She feels the blood race up her inner thighs. She wants to pull away. Karma is looking into Reagan's eyes. Once again it feels as if she is peering into her soul. Reagan is more confused than ever now. Karma doesn't break her stare though. This time she wants to see her reaction. But Reagan closes her eyes. She no longer wants to pull away. As Karma presses her lips against Reagan's, Reagan is once again helpless, transfixed like a ship captain by the siren of a mermaid, beckoning from the jagged rocks ahead. Karma holds the kiss and opens up her eyes to look up at Amy's window. She wants to see firsthand what will happen next. And as if by clockwork, Amy ruffles past the curtain and looks out her window down at Karma to comply. Amy always seemed to have a knack for putting Karma's needs over her own. Karma is staring back at her. Karma doesn't break her stare. Instead, she pulls in closer to Reagan, who is now willfully oblivious of how many times she has now turned the knife that she has plunged deep into Amy's heart. Karma presses her lips tighter against Reagan's. Amy can't bear it anymore. She crumbles to the floor into a small little ball by the windowsill. Her voice has failed her, and she no longer has the energy to wail, so she sobs silently, gently. Her chest tries to heave, but it is labored, weighted by Amy's own broken heart. Karma finally relinquishes her glare. She closes her eyes and exhales. Her warm breath cascades out like a bewitching mist into Reagan's parted lips. Reagan inhales. She is intoxicated by Karma. Karma lets Reagan take the lead now. The two girls seem lost to time. They linger there, engaged in their torrid betrayal. Adding insult to injury, they continue to kiss. Below the window of Karma's best friend of 10 years. Below the window of Reagan's girlfriend, who vowed to her that she was no experiment. Karma lets out a sigh, and she seems oddly satisfied. To be continued.